How also?
Barbidel, yes, Doc.
Your
That's my
sisters?
sister po.
Okay, you
Yes,
look
Doc.
like her also. Good. Okay. So, are all of your classmates in now?
Laking pa, Doc.
Already in? Who's not yet in? How? Who's not yet in here?
Alok pa po, Doc. Mga 10, Doc, yung wala pa, Doc.
10?
Hanapin
And
ko pa,
these
Doc.
are, let me know who these 10 are.
Okay, Doc. I'll check po that.
Okay, never mind. After 15 minutes, you take note those that are still absent. Okay? After 15 minutes. Is that clear? Okay, and report to me.
Doc.
And report to me once I'm free or I have finished my lecture. Okay? Okay.
Doc.
Okay, so good afternoon, class. I am your lecturer today, histology. You had your previous lecture, it's the epithelial cells or tissues with Dr. Lasaka. Okay. Now, you know very well that there are 4 fundamental tissues. Okay. Let me just ask. Let's from A. Apurilio, Jovito, Rodolfo, Ray. Where is Apurilio? Where's Apurilio? Where are you? Could you show your face here? Apurilio.
Good afternoon, Doc.
I like to see your face. Okay. Where are you, Apurilio? I interviewed you. Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
so you are now here. Okay. What are the 4 fundamental types of tissues, Mr. Apurilio? We are dealing with the connective tissue. That's one. And the first one, you have already the lecture from Dr. Lasaka. What tissue was that?
tissues, Doc.
What?
Doc. We talked about.
You have your epithelial tissue, isn't it, Apurilio? Yes. And now you have your connective tissue. After this, you will have your muscular tissue. And I would still be the lecturer in muscular tissue. And then you will have again, the 4th fundamental type of tissue is nervous tissue. Okay, take note of that. Okay, let's start with my lecture. Okay, the connective tissue of all the tissues you will know is the most abundant, the most widespread and varied of all tissue types in the body. It also has the widest variety of functions. So it has the most, it has the widest, and of course it's plenty of cells and fibers that you will meet. Okay, so let's go first to the function of the connective tissue. Connective tissue is basically primarily used as a support and as a binding tissue. In this diagram here, in this picture, rather here, you would see you have here the nervous tissue. Okay, you have here the skeletal tissue. You have here, okay, your epithelium. Okay, and you would see here on this particular area your connective tissue. So they bind, no? The bind structures. That's their main function. They support the different types of tissues. Here you will see the characteristics of your connective tissue. You have plenty of cells here. You have plenty of fibers here. And you have the space, okay? You have here the ground substance, okay? So we'll go into the details of it later. Okay, so connective tissue, when you see a connective tissue, it's loosely arranged cells with abundant stroma. Loosely arranged cells and abundant stroma. Now, let me ask, who's the president of the class? Who's the president of the class?
Hello po, Doc.
What's your name, please?
Zoe Kapongkal po.
Ah, Zoe. Zoe, how would you compare the connective tissue with the epithelial tissue which you have taken with Dr. Lasaka? How would you compare? Okay. So epithelial tissue, when you look at it, they are what? Here in connective tissue, you would see it is loosely arranged cells and abundant stroma. How about in the epithelial?
For the epithelial, it's densely packed.
Yeah, that's right. It's densely packed, and if you look at it, they are like, as it were, tiles, no? Together, there is minimal space between the two cells, okay? Thank you, that's right. Now, the embryonic origin of our connective tissue is the mesoderm. Mesoderm. Corpine. Is Miss Corpine in there? Corpine, are you there?
I'm here po, Doc.
Yes, you are there. So, what are the two other possible origins of our tissues? You have the mesoderm. What are the other two? The inner one, what do you call that?
Endoderm.
Endoderm. And the
ectoderm.
outer is?
Ectoderm.
Ectoderm, yeah. Okay, functions. As we said before, there are so many functions of connective tissues. So you have your support. We mentioned that already, binding, support. You have your protection. You have your transport. In the transport, what connective cells are we referring to here, Miss Kuntapay? Aliza Kuntapay, what are we referring to in this function of the connective tissue as transport? What are the cells that are used in the transport? Kuntapay, are you in or are you out?
Hello, Doc.
Okay, Miss Kuntapay. Okay, so when we say transport, what cells are we referring to in the connective tissue? What cells are we referring to when the function of the connective tissue is to transport?
Blood cells.
Yes, blood cells. Okay, that's good. When I conduct recitation, I don't want any sounds other than the one being called. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so transport. Insulation. Okay, when we speak of insulation, what do we think of? What are we referring to when we speak of insulation? Hidalgo, Ray Angelo.
Hello, Doc. We are referring po to adipose tissues po.
Oh, very good. Adipose tissues. Do you know the two types of adipose tissues?
The yellow and the brown. adipose
very
tissues.
good. Okay. You're medtech, no?
Yes po.
Okay. Yes. Hematopoietic. Hematopoietic function of the connective tissue also refers to our blood cells. Okay? Okay.
Doc,
Immunology.
excuse me po. This is Aporelio, Doc. I got disconnected po. I'm sorry.
You're disconnected? Well,
Yes, Doc. Kanina po hanggang tawag mo ako.
anyway, you are now connected. Okay, that's okay.
Yes, Doc. I'm back.
Hematopoietic, immunologic. When we think of immunologic, what cell are we referring to here? Let's get from the last. Here.
Kadamot doon.
Viernes, Chelsea. Chelsea Ann. A sister of Alexia, I suppose. Chelsea, where are you? Are you
Hello.
in?
Good
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon. What cell are we referring to when we use the word immunologic as function of the connective tissue?
The macrophages.
The what?
The macrophages.
Oh, better, do you have others? More. You have your mast cells. Okay. Okay. It's good. And then you have your tissue repair. Okay. When we speak of tissue repair, you have so many involved here. Okay. I'll proceed to my lecture. So we would finish this one. Okay. So embryonic origin is the mesoderm. Now, if you look at the picture, you would see here that the connective tissue cells, cell lineage derived from multi-potential embryonic mesenchyme cell, multi-potential. So meaning to say it came from one only, yet it is possible to produce all these types of cells. So you can see here in the illustration, you have this embryonic multi-potential mesenchyme cell. You have here the red blood cells. You have here the other red blood, white blood cells. Okay. You have here the megakaryocyte. You have here the osteoblast. Okay, blast meaning to the coming, referring to the bones, no? And then you have here the microglia. These are what? In the nervous system cells, no? You have here your Langerhans cell and the rest. So they all come from the multi-potential embryonic mesenchyme cell. Okay, it's in your book anyway. By the way, I am using the Junquera text and atlas. Okay, so you see the picture. This is a schematic diagram of your connective tissue. You would see here that the collagen fibers, you have here the different cells, you have the macrophages, you have the cells, you have the elastic fibers, you have the what you call the blood cells, eosinophils and all. So this is your connective tissue. Okay, so take note that the connective tissue has two main components. You have cells, as we have mentioned some already, and then you have matrix. The matrix is again composed of your ground substance and your fibers. So when you are asked two components of the connective tissue, you say only cells and matrix. When you're asked types of matrix, then you will have your ground substance and your fibers. And in cells, you have fixed and wandering. So under the fixed cells, you have your fibroblasts, adipocytes, and the persistent mesenchymal cells. Okay, this is pluripotential. So fibroblasts fibers. So fibroblasts, no? The mature fibroblasts, you call it fibrocyte. Okay, and then you have your adipocytes. Wondering, you have your macrophages, you have your mast cells, you have your plasma cells, pigment cells, eosinophil, and neutrophil. Under the matrix, under the ground substance, you have your proteoglycans, the GAG, glycosamine, what's this? The other G, glycosamine, okay, the glycosamine glycans, and you have the okay, polysaccharides, where is this? This one. And then under this, you have either with sulfate, it is sulfated, okay, or non-sulfated. Under fibers, you have collagen, elastic fibers, and reticular fibers, Okay, so again, the connective tissue components, we have, as I said, you have your extracellular fibers, you have the ground substance, and your cells. Okay, now matrix, the matrix is your extracellular fibers plus your ground substance. The matrix surrounds and separates the cells, providing important structures and nutritional support to them, allowing them to be further apart than epithelial cells. So ground substance, okay, may be liquid, solid, or gel. Mr. Okay, Mr. Lumagbas. Are you in, Mr. Lumagbas? Mr. Lumagbas.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Yeah, good afternoon. Okay, give me an example of connective tissue wherein the ground substance is solid. Lumagbas, I interviewed you, I suppose. Lumagbas, are you here? Are you in? Yes. Give me an example of solid connective tissue.
Tendons, Doc.
Okay, that's not so solid. Ano bang solid? Where your muscles are attached. Those are also connective tissue. The second part of lecture that will be lectured by Dean is the bone and the cartilage. Okay? Okay. Now, liquid, you know that already, blood, okay, or gel, no? So, this next is the extracellular fibers. So, you have collagenous, you have reticular, and elastic. Cells, we have mentioned them already, the peak cells and the wandering cells. Wandering cells, mast cells, leukocytes, or the white blood cells, macrophages, okay? Macrophages are fixed and wandering. Okay, they are fixed and wandering. Okay, let me just call Pixon, Mark, Jerome. Are you in? Pixon?
Doc.
Yes, very good. Now tell me, okay, this macrophages, it is fixed and wandering. So it is both fixed and it is wandering. Give me an example of macrophages or macrophages that are wandering. Pixon? Wandering. Macrophages that are wandering.
We have monocytes.
What was that?
Monocytes.
Monocytes, very good. And an example of macrophages that are fixed.
I'm not sure, Doc, kasi
Yeah, even if you're not sure, answer me.
I really don't know, Doc, kasi macrophage lang nabasa ko na term for the fix.
You said you're not sure, so you have an idea. Okay. So what's the macrophage that you see in the lungs? Pixon, do you know?
Alveolar macrophage.
Macrophages that you see permanently in the lungs. So they are fixed in the lungs.
Alveolar macrophage.
What's the name?
Alveolar macrophage.
What was that? I couldn't clearly hear.
Alveolar macrophage. Alveolar macrophage.
Was that
Alveolar macrophage.
alveolar? Okay, so those are macrophages found in the alveolar area in the lungs, but that is not the name. Okay, anyway, you know, when they are macrophages are monocytes really. Okay, when they are in the blood, wandering, okay, traveling, they are monocytes. Okay, when they become fixed, for example, in the tissue, in the lungs, when they are already assigned there permanently, they will, although they are still monocytes, they have now, they will now be named separately. They will be called the dust cells. Okay. Now, if they are assigned in the liver, then example, this is just an example, they will be called what? Cooper cells. Okay. Anyway, we'll take that later on. Just to tell you that macrophages are monocytes. Okay, but once they are assigned in a particular tissue or an organ, they have a different name. Just like you have a lot of security guards, isn't it? You have a lot of security guards, but when they are assigned already to SM, you just say they are now SM security guards. You do not call them anymore just from the name that they originate of their origin, this agency. You do not, just SM security guard. So that's the same with monocytes. Okay, is that clear, class? Is it clear? I want response. Did you
Yes,
get
Doc.
what I meant? Okay, so okay. Okay, so you have here your macrophages now. Okay, cells of connective tissue proper. Cells of connective tissue proper. There are two groups of cells in the connective tissue proper. You have, again, resident cells, okay, and wandering cells. May, ano, yung sa bahay lang, o bagay, steady, and mayroong, yung lakwatsyera, no? Wandering cells. So, in the resident cells, you have the fibroblasts. You have the adipocytes. You have fixed, again, fixed macrophages and the mesenchymal cells. Under wandering cells, you include mast and plasma cells. Why do you think that you have mast and plasma cells? Of course, mast. Why are they wandering cells under wandering cells? Okay, here's another common name, no? Oh, let me ask the coordinator, how? Baby, Jill, how?
Yes, Doc.
Yes. Okay, answer my question.
What was it again, Doc? Because my speaker, Doc, is I'm having a problem, Doc, with my speaker. What was the question, Doc?
Okay, why are mast and plasma cells wandering? Why are they included here under wandering cells? Kasi
Because they mainly are found in our blood, Doc, and they can.
what? Okay. Okay. Ito yung mga syempre, if you have an inflammation Okay, Miss How. If you have an inflammation, then they will run into that area where you have an inflammation because that is their function. They release chemical that is needed, okay, to stop the inflammation or injury. Okay? Okay. Parang ano sila eh,
Yes, ma'am.
yung parang mga Pilipino ba na ano yun? Usisora? Ha? Usyusera. Di ba? Pag may nag-aaway dyan, takbuhan, nagtitinginan. Ayun, sila yun. Ha? Ang typical Filipino. Anyway, so that's good. Leukocytes. Oh, you see leukocytes, they are also wandering because if there is what? Injury, the neutrophils go there first. Okay, let's continue. Sprackenheit. I'm sorry, it's wrong. Okay, so another cells of connective tissue, better understood now, fixed cells or intrinsic cells. You have the fibroblasts and fibrocytes. Mature cells are called fibrocytes. The fibroblasts are the immature cells. Mesenchymal cells, you know already. The adipocytes, okay, and the fixed macrophages, so intrinsic or fixed. And the free cells, you or the extrinsic cells or wandering cells, you have again the macrophages, free macrophages or the monocytes. That's why you don't have their monocytes. And then your mast cells, plasma cells, leukocytes, okay, and the other cells that are in the blood, okay. Now, connective tissue major cell types present. In the fibroblast, okay, you have a fixed cell. It is the most common, you describe fibroblast as a fixed cell, most common cell, large star shape, and they produce fibers. The fibroblasts are the ones that produce fibers. The fibrocytes, they do not produce any more fibers because they are already mature or old. Mast cells, you have fixed cell, okay, they release heparin and histamine. As you know, heparin and histamine, they are part of the anaphylactic, no? That occurs in the body if we have say an allergy or so a shock, then there is, you see there the mast cells. Macrophages, they are wandering cell, as we said. They are phagocytic and therefore important in injury or infection. Okay, another picture of your wandering cells. Wandering cells move throughout the tissues. Example of a wandering cell are your macrophages. Now, when they are fixed already in that particular tissue, they do not wander anymore, okay? Macrophages actively move about during infection, phagocytizing bacteria and debris. Okay, so you have here your macrophages. Okay. Connective tissue major cell types. Okay. Fibroblast is a fixed cell. Most common cell always in connective tissue proper. It is large, star-shaped, produce fibers, and produce ground substance. Macrophages, wandering cell, phagocytic, important in defense, derived from circulating monocytes. Cells of connective tissue. Now, I repeat this, showing you the picture so it will be ingrained in your mind, no? In your memory. You have fibroblasts. Okay, in the fibroblast, you would note that the nucleus, they are here, it's like mataba siya, no? Okay, it's, if it is a fibrocyte, then you see this one. It is already thinner, no? Okay. And then your plasma cell, you have this, what do you describe this? You have this cartwheel or spoke wheel, a nucleus. And the adipose cell, we call this what? This is signet ring. It's like a ring when you have one stone there. I hope it's a diamond stone, no? Anyway, and then you have your large lymphocyte, you have the macrophages, you have the eosinophil, neutrophils, cells with pigment granules. These are the granules in there. This one also. And then you are small lymphocyte and the mast cells. Okay. So connective cells. Fixed connective tissue cells. Repeat, you have fibrocytes or fibroblasts, fat cells or adipocytes, wandering cells. You have other name here again, histocytes. Histocytes or macrophages. You have monocytes, lymphocytes, plasma cells, eosinophils, and again, mast cells. Now, if you would see this schematic diagram, you have here the different cells and the fibers of connective tissue, but you have here your epithelium, okay? Okay, so you have discussed this previously, and you would see that they are like, it's almost no space between, okay, the cells. Okay, so this is the epithelial, and therefore it is being supported by your connective tissue. Okay. It's broken. Sorry. So again, schematic drawing. So you must be familiar with this. With the 5 cherry on. 5, 10. 5 cherry on just entered the room. So I would like to know, you have the list already who were not present, Miss Howe, after 15 minutes? How
Yes,
many?
Doc.
What are the names? You must be ready.
Osenar and Conde Parcero, Doc.
Asinar, Conde Parcero, and the one
Yes,
just entered. Huh?
They're having problems with their internet connection, Doc. That's why they but they're having a hard time entering the
In the connections.
chat room, Doc.
So you better look for a
Yes,
better one, no? You better one next time. We cannot continuously have this problem. You have to look that is already in your domain. You cannot look for one that has a better, why? You have a better place there. There's so many. So I will not accept that as a reason. If I call you in the recitation and you are not present, you are not able to answer, then I have already something, which I can make use in the deliberation whether you will make it or not in the second year, because it's on the first year. Okay. So cellular components, you have fibroblasts. You describe it, the principal cells of the connective tissue. So when you are asked, what is the principal cell? You answer fibroblast. It is not fibrocyte. When you are asked parenchyma, parenchyma refers to the principal cell of the tissue. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
Okay, so parenchyma or the principal cell, the same. So in the quiz, in the examination, in the practical later, you'll be asked, give the parenchyma. Okay, so you know the cell that is there present that would describe the tissue or whatever. So fibroblast, principal cell of the connective tissue, it is the synthesis of fibers, synthesizes fibers and amorphous ground substance, or the GOGs and the GOGs. Okay, it synthesizes fibers. It produces, simple term, no? Produces fibers. Okay, here you will see this is your fibroblast. Sorry, fibroblast. Okay, when they produce fibers, this would be the one, no? These are the fibers. Okay. Okay. So again, the distinction between a fibroblasts and a fibrocyte. Okay, histiocytes. Correction, histiocytes is spelling in the first, but it is histiocytes. Macrophages. Okay, so there you are. They are the macrophages you would see here with already debris. Huh? Okay, bacteria, perhaps debris that they have taken already. Okay, this is schematic diagram. You will have here you have your macrophages, okay, big one, and then you have your eosinophils. But we will take this up when we have now the topic in the blood. No, that will be next time, Thursday. Heat production, that is the function of the fat cells. Heat production and what? Can you give me another function? Heat production. Estigoi. Okay, yes, estigoi. I remember. Estigoi. Aside from heat production, what will be the function of the adipocyte? Estigoi, are you in? You better answer. If you do not, I will mark you absent, even if the coordinator said that you were present. Estigoi. Uh-huh. Where's Estigoi? Just say yes. You're there, Estigoi. How? Is he in? Is she in? Is Estigoi in?
Yes, Doc, but
Oh,
he's not answering.
okay. Okay, so I'm smiling. Is this a picture already of Miss Amago? So you better answer, Miss Amago. What is the other function of the adipocyte or the fat cells? Amago.
Hello po, Doc. Yes po.
Oh, or what is the other function? Give me another. It's the opposite of heat production. What would it be?
Storage, Doc.
Yes, heat storage. Okay, ba't nawala? Okay, so next, okay, storage of the neutral fats. There you are. Okay, so appearance is signet ring appearance. There you are. Okay, plasma cells are infrequent, but they're usually seen in areas of inflammation. They produce antibodies. Produce antibodies. So that is your immunologic, okay? And then it looks like a cartwheel or a spoke wheel appearance, the nucleus. And then the inclusion bodies, you call them Russell bodies. The inclusion bodies found in plasma cells are Russell bodies. Okay, here you are, but it's a better one. Okay, so you have here cartwheel, okay, nucleus, okay. Yes? Yes, anyone who identify yourself when you are speaking. Any question? Are we good? Are we clear? How? Oh, it's clear. Your classmates don't answer. Okay, so you have your inclusion bodies, the Russell bodies, your spoke wheel. So this is the one, no? Okay. The nucleus, appearance of the nucleus. Okay, muscles with granules containing heparin, histamine, and serotonin. Okay, they are present in anaphylactic sensitivity reactions. So you see the mast cells over there. And then here they are the mast cells. Okay, okay, so big one. Okay, here you are. Okay, so you have here the samples of, let me just, okay. Parang may na-miss akong slide. Balik, this one?
Yes.
Okay, and then, okay, so this is it, no? You have connective tissues. You have different types of connective tissues shown here. You have your loose connective tissue, okay? By the word alone, you would know that it is loose because there are spaces. This will be the ground substance appearing, no? Okay, so, and then you have here the sample of another connective tissue, which is bone. Okay, this solid, and also your cartilage. Okay, these two will be discussed by Dean Lim. And you have your hemo, okay, this blood, no? Hemopoietic. Okay, so the connective tissue proper. You have loose connective tissue. As the word suggests, loose connective tissue, di ba? In Tagalog, ano ba yung loose? Maluwag. Okay, so you have it here, no? Spaces. Okay, there you are. Jade Florencio entered the waiting room. Okay, so you have your functions here for the loose. By the way, another name for loose connective tissue is areolar connective tissue or areolar tissue. Functions as cushions, provides support, okay, and then you have your, if for the independent movement, also it is used. And then you have your adipose tissue. These are located deep, okay, in the skin, especially, you know, on your sides, in your buttocks, on your J. Lopez buttocks, okay, and in the breast, padding around your eyes, and also in kidneys, okay. And then you have dense connective tissue. When you said dense, it is what? You mean it is not loose, no? It is dense, but compact, no? Okay. You have here between your skeletal muscles, okay? Between bones, covering your skeletal muscles, and then capsules of internal organs. So here also functions, firm attachment, okay, and the rest. This is in your book, so you can read them all. No? Okay, so this is your adipocytes. And then this is your collagen fibers, okay, and the fibroblasts. There you are. Okay, so connective tissue fibers, you have collagenous fibers under which... Hello? Yes? Collagenous fibers, okay? Thick threads of protein collagen arranged in long, parallel, flexible bundles. They hold structures together. So example of which are ligaments and tendons. Another connective tissue fiber is elastin fiber. Bundles of protein, elastin, weaker than collagen fibers but more elastic. It is yellow in color, so yeah, they are called yellow fibers. And then you have your reticular fibers, thin, delicate collagen fibers, more for support, reticular fibers. Okay, so you see here, the first one, this is a dense connective tissue. Okay, you have here lots of fibers and the cells. Adipose, so you have these spaces here. This is occupied by fat droplets, but you know, when they are stained, they are removed. Okay, so they have here the nucleus here at the edge. Okay, and then areolar tissue, or you say it loose connective tissue. So if one look at them, you would see already the differences here. Okay, loose spaces. Well, here you have lots of fibers, and of course this will be in the other lecture. Compact bone. Okay, and then you have blood connective tissue. So it's in a liquid form. Okay. Again, this is another picture of your dense, okay, regular connective tissue. Okay. Dense. So by the word dense, it is puno, no, compact. Okay. There are almost no spaces. Okay. So these are the collagen fibers. Dense, regular. Why you say regular? Because it has unidirection. Yung pare-pareha sila. Okay. So unlike this dense, irregular. Plenty, it's also compact, but there is no unidirection. It is not unidirectional. So magulo, parang buhok na sprocket height, no? Magulo. Parang ano. Okay. So, and you have here the elastic fibers tissue, okay, from the ligament. It is also quite dense because of these fibers, but not as much as your dense regular, okay, here. So you have your elastic fibers, okay. You have your dense irregular, okay. You have your dense regular. Regular, hindi siya irregular. Okay. And then you have your elastic tissue here. Okay. Okay, so Charlie Florenzo entered the waiting room. Okay, so you have here your elastic fibers. Again, this one here. You have your fibrous connective tissue here. And then you have your cartilage. These are chondrocytes. Chondrocytes, okay, these are the cells in your cartilage. They are the mature cells, while the chondroblasts are the young cells that will be taken by Dr. Lim, Dean Lim. And then your blood here, okay, the red blood, and you have your white blood cells in here. Okay, adipose tissue, you have here the fat droplets. Okay, so when you say connective tissue proper, you will have only three types. We have mentioned them already. Collagenous, okay. And collagenous, you will again say loose collagenous tissue or loose connective tissue. The same yon. Dense connective tissue. If it is dense, okay, puno o makapal, okay, then it can be irregular or regular. We have demonstrated that. And then you have your reticular. Okay, this is just an example of loose. This is the loose. May mga space yan. Round substance. And then your fibers are less. Your cells, you have plentiful also different types of cells. And then you have your next is your dense. Yan, puno. Okay. And then irregular or regular. And then you have your reticular fibers. This one are the reticular fibers. Okay. Yeah, this one. Huh? Okay. Reticular fibers. These are reticular fiber cells. These are the reticular, it's the dark one, no? Those are the reticular fibers. And then you have your elastic. There you are, elastic Basically, they are seen in the blood vessels. Okay. Okay. When we take our blood vessels or the muscles, you will see here, these are the elastic. Okay. They are located in the inner lining of your blood vessels here, so that you can, the blood vessel can expand. Okay. Here, just in case you have a high blood pressure. Elastic fibers. Okay, loose connective tissue, it is widely distributed. It is in the superficial and deep fascia, and you have few collagen fibers. The dense connective tissue, it is packed up, close packing of collagen fibers. As I mentioned, you have your dense irregular located in your dermis, in your GI tract submucosa, in capsule of organs, periosteum, and perichondrium. While in the dense regular, you find them in your tendons, ligaments, and aponeurosis. Okay, the reticular tissue, you have your supporting framework of functions. You find them in the supporting framework of hematopoietic and lymphoid organs. Okay, it contains reticular fibers, or you call them argyrophilic fibers. Okay, surrounds other tissues and cells like your adipose, your muscle, your basal lamina. Okay, in your epithelial, okay, tissues, the basal lamina, endoneurium, okay, stroma of the glandular organs. Elastic tissue, they are slender, refractile, parang bibigay ng what you call this sheen, no? Refractile fibers with elastin. Okay, this is the protein. And then they are located in the walls of hollow organs, blood vessels, trachea, bronchi, yellow ligaments, and suspensory ligaments. Okay, so again, just to be repetitious so that you will not forget, you have your dense irregular, you have the spaces, irregular, no unidirection. This dense regular, it is unidirectional, and then you have your loose connective tissue, less fibers, okay, more cells, loose or areolar connective tissue, okay, or areolar. Okay, again, the same. Okay, so here you have your, okay, breast example, okay, adipose, and then you have here the lamina propria of your epithelium here. This is the cells, no? Epithelial cells. This is the lamina propria, okay, and then you have here now the collagen fibers here, okay. It is, of course, dense, okay, regular. Okay, again, dense connective tissue, okay. And this is the loose connective tissue, okay, or areolar tissue, a connective tissue. This is, again, loose connective tissue, okay, loose. Okay, then the connective tissue fibers here illustrated. You have here the collagen. These are the collagen fibers. Okay, okay. So those are collagen fibers, all that. Okay. Most numerous, most abundant protein in the human body with tropocollagen molecules. You have different types. You have type 1, dermis, bone, tendon, and fibrocartilage. Type 2, hyaline and elastic cartilage. You have 3, endomysium, smooth muscle, liver, spleen, kidney. And then your type 4, basal lamina. And then you have fetal membrane or in the blood vessels, type 5. Okay, so you have your elastic fibers. Okay, elastic fibers. You have your collagen fibers, okay, reticular fibers, the dark one there, and then you have your elastic fibers here in the blood vessels. These are internal, inner lamina. Okay, layer. And then you have here also your reticular fibers. Okay, here covering, this is a blood vessels, muscularis, yeah. So you have it here, this one here. Okay, so what other tissue? You have your adipose tissue, mucous, connective tissue, osseous. We have mentioned that, cartilage, myeloid tissue or bone marrow, red bone marrow, yellow bone marrow, and then you have your lymphatic tissue. You will take this lymphatic tissue, especially when you go to gastrointestinal tract. I shall be lecturing also this one, the loose, dense connective tissue. Okay, so there you are, your connective tissues. Again, it's in your book. Adipose tissue. Okay, so large oval shape, signet ring. Okay, you have the appearance of a ring, signet ring. And then the function is fat storage, of course. The other one, heat, no? Release, insulation. And then mechanical support. There you are, your fat cells or adipocytes. And then the types, you have your yellow or white, and then you have brown. Okay, brown. Okay, okay. You describe white as unilocular. Okay, it's unilocular, while you describe yellow or white as unilocular, while brown is multilocular. What do you mean by multilocular? Several small lipids, fat droplets are seen. While in the yellow, you have only one. Okay, here, the small fat globules. Under staining procedure, that is not, of course, that is, the fat globules are taken in, no? Removed. Okay, so you have types, yellow, white, repeat. Oh, there you are. You have the yellow up there. So unilocular. Okay, multilocular. Ayan, maraming mga fat lobules. Maliliit, but several. Mucous connective tissue, you have distinctive cell of mucous connective tissue is the primitive fibroblast. So spindle shape or stellate. You have Wharton's jelly of the umbilical cord. These are examples of your mucous connective tissue. Okay, there you are. And then here the same, no? Wharton's jelly, and you have your Wharton's jelly, and you have your in the umbilical cord. Okay, 4 phases of wound healing. You have phase 1, hemostasis. Please read this in your book, understand them. Yes, this is 1 to 3 days. Phase 2, inflammation. Okay, day 3 to 20, new framework for blood vessel growth. Phase 3, week 1 to 6, pulls the wound close. You have proliferation of granulation tissue. And then the final phase is your remodeling or maturation. This is the final proper tissue, which will be about in 6 weeks to 2 years. Phases of wound healing, of course, depending if it is a wound that is only of the epidermis, then it would be different when both the epidermis and the dermis are affected. Okay, so wound healing again. Okay, you have your blood clot initially, and then you have inflammation. You have the different cells already there, the macrophages, and the beginning of the scab, and the fibroblasts. Okay, there you are. And then the next is proliferative and migration. There you are. And then the last would be remodeling, healing of the epidermis. So, okay, so stages of healing, you have this in your book. You have first your injury here. Okay, you have your coagulation, and then you have early inflammation, excuse me. You have your later, okay, late inflammation. You have your, okay, prothrombin, okay. And then you have your remodeling or the maturation. These are all in your book. Kindly read them. Okay. Okay, so nutritional support for wound healing, we have your inflammatory phase, you need vitamin A, you have bromelain, you have protein, vitamin C. Okay, in your proliferative phase, you need vitamin C. Okay, glucosamine, thank you, vitamin A, and zinc. Zinc helps helps cells proliferate and protein synthesis. And then the last remodeling phase, you have protein, much protein. Okay, so that if you have inadequate protein intake, then the remodeling or the wound will take longer, okay, to heal. Okay, class, thank you and good luck. We exactly ended at 1 p.m. Next time, I would like you to be, at 2 o'clock. It's already 2 o'clock. I would like you to be earlier, no? That would be on Thursday. We'll take a blood and lymph. This is not long. I will conduct recitation, and this time I will be grading your recitation. Today, there will be no grading yet, no, because I did not announce it. But Thursday, there will be grading. Is that clear? Abueva, where are you? Are you in, Mr. Abueva? Are you in, Mr. Abueva?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, see you again next meeting Thursday. Yeah, we will have recitation. We'll have again recitation. Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you,
I will be calling. Take note. I will be calling with my family name. So you will have to start with letter C and then ASIMIRO. And then 8. Okay, so everyone will be given a chance to recite and be graded. Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Doc.
you, Doc.
Okay, nice having you.
Thank you,
See you.
Doc.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc.